¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás hoy? ¿Listo para la lectura? Sí, hoy traigo a nuestra querida amiga Emily Brown, que nos encanta leerla. Esta vez se llama Emily Brown and the Father Christmas. Y la pregunta que te voy a hacer es, ¿cómo le dice Emily Brown a Father Christmas? Que es la única forma de repartir los regalos la noche de Navidad. Si tienes el cuento, léelo con nosotros. Soy Mónica, bienvenido a Peque Books. Today we're reading Emily Brown and Father Christmas, written by Cressida Cowell and illustrated by Neal Layton. Ooh. Here we go. Once upon a time, there was a little girl called Emily Brown and an old grey rabbit called Stanley. One Christmas Eve, Emily Brown and Stanley had hung up their stockings and were reading each other a story when there was a ho-ho help coming from outside the window. Ho-ho help! It was Father Christmas, hanging by a rope from the roof. "Oh, Emily Brown, cried Father Christmas. "Could you possibly call the fire brigade?" "I can't do better than that," said Emily Brown, getting out her emergency rescue machine. Stanley pushed the button to on, and together they sucked Father Christmas in through the window.
"Why, thank you, Emily Brown," said Father Christmas. "I don't understand how that could have happened. I'm using the very latest climbing equipment."
"Dropping down the chimney magically might be better," said Emily Brown. "Sometimes the old ways are the best ways." A little while later, after Emily Brown and Stanley had politely pretended to be asleep while Father Christmas filled their stockings, there was another ho-ho help.
"Ho-ho help!"
This time it was coming from the roof.
"Oh, Emily Brown, cried Father Christmas. "I don't understand it, but my sleigh has broken down. It's the most up-to-date sleigh you can get. It has turbo what's-its and jet thingy-gummies, and I turned that switch there, but it went bang, and now it won't move."
"Flying reindeer might be better," said Emily Brown. "They never break down."
"Yes, but they're not very modern," said Father Christmas.
"Sometimes the old ways are the best ways," said Emily Brown. "Luckily, Stanley keeps a few flying reindeer in the wild bit at the bottom of the garden just for Christmas emergencies." Emily Brown and Stanley put on their winter warmers and went down to the wild bit at the bottom of the garden to find some flying reindeer for Father Christmas' sleigh.
"Thank you, Emily Brown," said Father Christmas. "I really am most terribly grateful."
"It's no problem," said Emily Brown and Stanley, waving him goodbye. "Being kind and helpful to others is what Christmas is about." Quite a long time later, Emily Brown and Stanley were fast asleep when they were woken by a ho-ho help, ho-ho help. Emily Brown and Stanley were so very, very tired. But they opened their weary eyes and they staggered onto their sleepy feet and they put on the winter warmers and they struggled out into the snow. It was Father Christmas again, and he was in quite a tizzy.
"Oh, Emily Brown, said Father Christmas. "I have iPhones and Wi-Phones and flashing screens with buttons, but I find them all terribly confusing, and so far I've only got to the end of the street. And I've got to deliver all these presents to every child in the whole entire world before tomorrow morning. What am I to do?"
Beep, turn right, turn left, beep. Emily Brown looked at Stanley, and Stanley looked at Emily Brown. A Christmas day with no stockings. There were going to be some very disappointed children out there. It was time for some firm words. "Father Christmas," said Emily Brown very sternly. "There is only one way to do this, and that is by magic."
"Magic isn't very modern," wept Father Christmas. "I don't want to be the out of date and out of touch, but some children have written asking for peace to the world and sweet dreams forever, and I can't find those in any of these catalogues, and achoo!"
Father Christmas was getting very upset. "Leave this to Stanley and me, Father Christmas," said Emily Brown. "All this trying to be modern has tired you out, and I think you're coming down with a nasty winter cold." So Emily Brown and Stanley tucked Father Christmas up with a cup of hot chocolate and some warm slippers in the chair in front of the fire. "Stanley and I don't think you need to be up to date, Father Christmas," said Emily Brown. "We love you just the way you are."
"Oh, that's so very kind of you,"
sneezed Father Christmas, gently falling asleep. "Okay, Stanley," said Emily Brown. "This year the children of the world are depending on us." Emily Brown and Stanley took out their dream catchers and they looked at their star maps, and off they flew in Father's Christmas sleigh to deliver presents to every single child in the entire whole world, even though it was way past their bedtime. And they did it by magic, because it might be old-fashioned, but it's a lot quicker. When they got back, Father Christmas was fast asleep. So Emily Brown and Stanley very, very quietly put a few little presents in Father Christmas' stockings, which were hanging on the edge of the chair, without waking him up. And then Emily Brown and Stanley went to bed. And a lovely old-fashioned star hung over Emily Brown's house that night, because being kind and helpful to others was what Christmas is all about.
¿Qué tal? A mí Emily Brown me parece muy simpática, ¿y a ti? ¿Y cómo le recomienda a Father Christmas que reparta todos los regalos? ¿Vamos allá? Le dice aquí: "There is only one way to do this, and that is by magic", con magia, naturalmente, si no, ¿cómo lo va a hacer? Es imposible. Si te ha gustado, te recomiendo que lo compres y no te olvides de suscribirte al canal, compartir el vídeo o darle al like. Muchas gracias por seguirnos y nos vemos con el próximo cuento.